All right, brother, since we're going to try this one more time. I had to delete a whole bunch of stuff. Kept hitting the limit, memory limit or whatever. All right, I think I picked off on the geographic, the Bible's geographic indicators for where Eden was, or Eden, okay? The name Hebrew, okay? It means those who crossed over. Crossed over where? Crossed over the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Okay. The coordinates for the Garden of Eden. And Eden is the place where the Anunnaki made man. Okay. You have to remember and understand this. Please understand this. Okay. If you're starting from Kemet, okay, you're starting from the middle of the story, all right? The Sumerian texts are the oldest texts on the planet. They are older, thousands of years older, okay, than the Bible text, than the building of the pyramids and all of that. In fact, the Sumerian tablets tells you about them building the pyramids. They tell you who faces on the Sphinx, okay? And it's not fucking who they tried to say is Khafra, or they say who Tahuti supposed to built not Tahuti who they say built the goddamn pyramids. Shit, that was like 30 years ago study and shit, and I done forgot the shit. But anyway, it precedes that shit, okay? If you're only going, man, I'm trying to tell you, and I know that most of you black people out there, all right, you are so attached to Egypt, okay? You're so attached to Egypt because you saw black people on the wall. Well, I'm trying to tell you, man, there's archaeology, iconography, paleontology, anthropology, all in the cradle of civilization, the true cradle of civilization. Civilization, first you have to define the word civilization. Civilization is usually defined as having a language, okay? You have to also have a written language, a language that you can write. In other words, Bantu has like clicks and shit like that. You cannot write Bantu, okay? It's not a written language. It's only a oral language, okay? What's called the oral tradition. It can only be spoken. It cannot be written. Okay. So in order to be civilized, you have to have agriculture. You have to have, building. You have to be able to build. Okay. Not necessarily out of stone as in the form of masonry, but you have to build like communities and shit like that. These are indicators that classify, something as being civilized. Okay. If you was to go into the jungles of, say, South America and certain places like Ecuador and shit like that, these people have a language, but they don't have a written language, okay? You don't see buildings and shit in the goddamn jungles with names of the stores and shit over them. They don't even have fucking stores. They're out there hunting and they're growing the food and shit like that, and they still wearing loincloths. But that's not to say that they aren't like, that word civilized is a very delicate thing to touch on, but you have to be able to understand what civilization is considered. So when the five Grand Masters, Sheikh Anta Van Sertima, Dr. Yosef Ben Yakin, John G. Jackson, John Henry Clark, when they say that Africa was the cradle of civilization, they did not. The word civilization is which is what makes that statement incorrect. Okay. Africa may be the cradle of what's called Homo erectus. Okay. You remember in the Sumerian tablets. Okay. And these are not just the clay tablets. They have big ass blocks with stories written on them. Okay. And what's called Akkadian, or what the white people called the cuneiform, okay? But these are the people who chose Israel, okay? Who chose you, okay? Above and over all the other groups that they created, all right? If you have to read the story. And this is the thing, that when, the information, until you read it, the information will just rock your whole foundation of what you believe. If you just study Islam and you study, Kemet, and you study, let's say, the Torah or the Tanakh, or let's say the Injil, all right? If you just know the basics as far as like, ancient religions, like the top three, Islam, Christianity, and Islam, okay? I mean, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, all right? It will rock that whole foundation, okay? It will rock the whole foundation. And most blacks don't want to hear that they were created as a slave class. But the story is much more beautiful than that. You have to keep reading, okay? Don't be lazy minded. See, that's the problem with black people, okay? That's the problem with black people. They already are lazy minded, okay? It's hard to keep their goddamn attention. And the minute they come across something written or something that's told to them that conflicts with the thing that they have accepted, okay, as their truth, okay, then they don't want to hear the shit. And they immediately will put up a rebuttal and an argument and aggressively attack that which is contradictory to their belief system, okay? And this is the problem why you will never be a scholar and why you will never be a true student, one who studies, okay? Because you what you are is educated. You're not intelligent. And an educated person cannot cross-reference information, okay? Educated person is trained in one particular area of thought. And to step outside of that genre, it fucks with their whole goddamn mental system, okay? It will shut their shit down, all right? They see it as an attack, okay? And they lash out against it, all right? Because they're not true scholars, okay? They're not true scholars. That's why I say, man, you have to be real careful when you study and research things, because your value system and your intent will have a direct effect on your writings and on the conclusions that you make based on your study and your research, okay? So you really have to go at these things with an open mind, and you have to be intelligent. An intelligent person is able to cross-reference information. This is why you see bibliographies in the back of books, okay? You see them in pages and pages long. That is an indicator that the writer attacked this particular topic with an open mind, okay? He gathered resources from as many areas that he could find, written by as many different people as he can find, okay? And he cross-referenced the information, okay? This is what H. Rap Brown said, the difference between an educated person and an intelligent person. An educated person is trained, okay? And an intelligent person is able to cross-reference information, all right? So this is how you become intelligent. I have a video on YouTube called How to Study Properly. Okay. And you know, some of you really need that shit bad. Okay. You need it real bad. Okay. So, all right. And so it's hard when when somebody come along and say, Africa is not the cradle of civilization. Okay. Kemet is not where the shit begins. In fact, it's way in the middle. There's some shit 400,000 years that's written, that's been found, dug the fuck up out the ground, okay? That's been found that tells the true story, all right? And the true story is, it's out of this world, literally. It's literally out of this world, okay? The word Hebrew, it comes from the Sumerian or Anunnaki word Nibiru. Nibiru is the planet which they came from, okay? And it means those who from heaven came. The word Hebrew is not a term we gave ourselves. It's a term that other black people called us. Who them niggas over there? Oh, they them Hebrews, okay? Hebrews, yeah, they the ones who crossed over. Crossed over what? Crossed over the two rivers. All right. The two rivers is the Tigris and Euphrates. The indicator written in the goddamn Bible. And the Bible is only 6,000 years old, but the Bible was adapted from much older stories. Older stories from the Sumerian clay tablets, okay? That predates fucking Kemet. You understand? It's just a passed down story, okay? And in fact, it's not exact and accurate. There's bits and pieces. You can tell once you start that trend, once you start to hand a story down generation to generation, and then you start talking about 400,000 fucking years of handing the story down, it becomes diluted, okay? And there's bits and pieces of truth and a little bit of other shit from other different places and areas of motherfuckers who have added their little tape in on the shit, okay? But the Sumerian tablets is the most raw, uncut, no cut, no fucking, it ain't been fucked with. You understand what I'm saying? It's the raw shit, okay? It ain't been influenced by the goddamn Ptolemies, okay? The white Greeks and Romans who came and seized the throne of fucking Egypt. It ain't been affected by the iconoclast, okay? Iconoclast. people who destroy icons or change the face of icons, okay? You know how all the goddamn noses and shit are broken off and how they hide certain artifacts, okay, that show real strong black African features, or they try to explain away why these motherfuckers are painted black and other motherfuckers are painted tan, and then some motherfuckers are painted beige and some motherfuckers are painted fucking white. You know what I mean? They try to give a fucking so-called intellectual explanation as to why this is. And it's not supposed to be the way you see it on the fucking wall. It's supposed to be a reason why it's that way. As if these motherfuckers, maybe they ran out of paint or some shit. You know, who the fuck knows? But they try to do that. And that's called iconoclasm, okay? And the iconoclasts went around the world and they broke noses off of artifacts and things like that. They did the same shit in fucking Mesopotamia, which now is Iran, Iraq, Syria. This is where you come from, between the Tigris and the Euphrates. Sumer, Semitics. This is where Semitic come from. Semitic is not from the term Shem or Shemite. Shemite and Semite ain't the same fucking shit. Okay? Sumerians were black people. Chaldeans were black people. The first Hebrew, the first nigga who crossed over was had to be Abraham, okay? Right? So they would say, who them niggas from over there? These are those Hebrews, okay? It's not a word that we gave ourselves, Hebrews. We were given the name Israel, okay? Israel, okay? Children of El. El was one of the gods of the Anunnaki. Enlil, okay? He was also known as El. He was the harsher god. In the Bible, from Genesis 1st chapter, 1st verse, all the way up to Genesis 2nd chapter, 4th verse, his name is El, okay? This is the god El, okay? When you get to Genesis 2nd chapter, 4th verse, that's where you get Yah, okay? Or Iyah. It's not even pronounced Yah. It's pronounced Iyah. Okay, and that's Enki. These are the story of two brothers. The story that the Osiris and Set story came from. It was handed down again. See, and the Enki and Lil story is 400 fucking thousand years older than the Asar Set story. Okay, and then there's a sister, and there's two sisters involved, just like in Set and I forgot what Set wife was named. Okay, you have a sister too, and they were half sisters that married each other, just like in the goddamn Kemetic story. But the Sumerian story is, like I said, is 400,000 years older. Okay, so I'm trying to get you guys to understand that. And if you're a true scholar, if your intention is righteous and true, to seek and find out the truth of information, whether it coincides with your belief system or doesn't, I want to know the truth. I